So for the past year, I've been looking into stories of women who kill, and this one really caught my eye.
Next, a former couple who shot a father of two from Wigan have been jailed for life.
But it does leave me wondering, like, how someone can find themselves in prison for 30 years for murder, for a crime when they were 100 miles away from the crime scene.
Let's get it, let's get it.
What do I do with my legs and that?
Just get it. Come on, come on.
When you look at this now, she looks like any girl you could know. She looks like the girls that are, like, on my Instagram that are, like, having these incredible holidays.
Let's get it.
You know, this woman in these videos, like, she is a convicted murderer. You know, her victim was killed less than a week before here, where she's in Jamaica with her boyfriend on this holiday of a lifetime.
When Liam Smith walked out of his house in Shevington, Michael Hillier was waiting for him. He shot him in the face and then he covered him with acid.
Uric acid.
Fulstow met Liam Smith on a Tinder date in 2019. Mr. Hillier told the court the two decided to go down the vigilante route when Miss Fulstow told him she had been raped by Mr. Smith.
Rachel Fulstow claims she only found out her boyfriend Michael Hillier had attacked Liam Smith when he turned up at her home afterwards.
So I've got my hands on this, like, massive document. It's basically a diary that Rachel's written from inside prison. It's, like, nearly 200 pages. And Rachel says that the true story's in here. She is in prison as a convicted murderer, and I suppose that's something that I've got to think of when I'm going through this, like, how much of this is the truth? I feel it's important to start at the very beginning and where I was prior to meeting Michael Hillier. I felt left behind. All my friends were married, they had kids, and were living family lives. I was wanting a family, wanting children, and a family life of my own, but feeling like time was running out. I met Michael Hillier on Hinge. I was initially attracted to him because he'd made an effort with his profile. It said what he was looking for, and that description was very much the kind of person I am. Natural, classy, caring, kind, good morals, supportive, and he listed himself as honest, loyal, gentleman, chivalrous. These were all the qualities I look for. He initially liked one of my pictures. I replied to his like and said something like, "I think I have what you're looking for." You actually couldn't believe that, like, the couple that go on to be headlined as the killer couple, literally their first conversation was about their shared good morals. It seems when you read the first, few months of their relationship that this was going to be one of the best love stories ever. It feels like a fairy tale when you read it. Their dates, how they kissed in the rain, how they, like, quickly fell for each other.
I love you. I'm so happy right now.
And then what? They're both right now, right this second, sitting in prison cells on different sides of the country.
The former couple who shot a father of two from Wigan and doused him with acid have been jailed for life.
So just arriving on Liam's road. It feels so weird to be here, like, outside Liam's house. Literally in the exact same spot that Michael Hillier just sat waiting for him.
When Liam Smith walked out of his house in Shevington one dark night last November, Michael Hillier was waiting for him. He shot him in the face from 4 feet away, and then he covered him with acid as he lay on the ground.
So from the CCTV, you can see that Michael Hillier sat here and he's gone up to, like, where Liam lives, I suppose, try and, like, let him out. And Liam's obviously come out to see what's going on. And he shot him in the face. Liam then obviously drops to the ground and Michael pours acid over him. Rachel said that the jury knew that she wasn't at the scene of the crime. She was in a completely different city when it happened. She was convicted under the law of joint enterprise. She says that she's completely innocent and she had no idea that this murder was gonna happen. And she's in prison for 30 years and she wasn't even at the scene of the crime. For me, it doesn't make sense right now.
Well, the jury were told by the prosecution that they should find Rachel Fulstow guilty of murder because she had played a full role in the killing. Under cross-examination today, Rachel Fulstow was asked about a number of internet searches she'd made.
According to this, the first sign that this murder plan was going to happen was when Rachel searched Liam's name on her phone. Rachel's telephone was used to carry out an internet search for an electrician in the Wigan area. So what this is months before Liam was killed. So I'm on my way to go meet the prosecution. Now these are the guys who in the courtroom proved to the jury that Rachel and Michael were guilty of this murder and, deserved to be in prison. So I think for me, it's kind of getting to grips with that evidence and that case against her. It's nice, isn't it? We've got Michael who says, yeah, I pulled the trigger. But Rachel, of course, was hundreds of miles away. So I'm trying to figure out what is her role in all of this, in this murder.
We were always working the basis she wasn't there. She wasn't directly in the sense of physically doing anything at the scene. But when you look at her role throughout, a lot of it was in the kind of supporting role of the communications. The jury weren't deciding whether or not she was there and pulling the triggers, whether she was part of the offence of murder. And if she's deliberately helped him, knowing what he was going to do and wanting him to do it, that's what the jury had to decide.
Her phone was examined. So there were the searches that were coincidentally around about the time Michael Hillier was heading over towards the Wigan area where Liam Smith lived. She searched how long does it take for a car to burn. The Shogun was found burnt out after the murder. But also on the 2nd of November, ambulance response times. And then the prosecution cases, as well as she's making the searches, she knows what's happening because she's part of that planning.
It's these searches, it sounds like, that have literally damned her.
Yeah, so that's why we say it's the circumstantial evidence. The prosecution case was they were part of a plan together to harm, and really seriously harm Liam Smith.
Is there evidence that she said, go and kill this guy for me?
There's no direct
evidence at all that she had expressed a desire that Liam Smith be hurt at all from the evidence.
I thought so the fact that there's no evidence that she even wanted him hurt and she's even found herself in the dock for murder. There are cases that she helped Michael plan it. So they say it doesn't even matter that she didn't actually physically do it. She's just as guilty.
Rachel Fulstow was asked about a number of internet searches she'd made, asking, does acid corrode stainless steel after Liam Smith was killed? She said that search was because she wanted to know if his mobile phone would have been destroyed in the attack, saying, I didn't want it to be. I wanted them to link it to me. I knew at some point they would get Mike, and I was the link. She said she was in an abusive relationship with Michael Hillier.
May 2021. I don't remember when he started to be regularly abusive. It kind of feels like he'd always been that way, but I know he wasn't. It came gradually, little digs that got worse and worse, and each time he'd say more and more. He'd also spoke and brought up his hatred of cheating and one-night stands.
Mr. Hillier told the court he hesitated at the time of the attack, but that he didn't want to let Rachel down. He accepted that when he pulled the trigger, he executed his plan.
I've managed to get linked up with Michael, and apparently he wants to talk. It's so tricky chatting to prisoners because they're not allowed to speak to the media without permission. But I've been chatting to a pal of his, and he says that Michael doesn't care about consequences if he speaks to me. In about 15 minutes, Mike Hillier is meant to be calling me. I'm intrigued. I don't know what he's going to be like. I've heard so much.
This call will be recorded. Please hang up now.
Hello?
Hey, Mike, it's Layla.
How you doing? All right?
I'm good. How are you? You feel comfy to chat? Where about are you right now?
I'm just sat in my cell. I've literally just banged up for the evening now after being let out for exercise.
And I appreciate that. It's took a few weeks to get you here on the phone. Why did you want to speak to me, Mike?
I guess, just to get a few things off my chest. Rachel said that if I carried out this attack, firstly, it was never the plan to take the life of Liam Smith. The plan was to scar him and to cause him harm, but it was never to kill him.
What was the plan then? Tell me about that.
Well, there's only 3 options, and none of them agree. One is do nothing, and you leave a sexual predator roaming the streets, not being held accountable for his crimes. 2, you report it to the police, and a woman has a less than 1% chance of the perpetrator being found guilty in a court of law. Or 3, you take the law into your own hands. None of them are particularly good options, but the third option was the one that Rachel opted for. She encouraged me and assisted me to take the law into our own hands.
If you hadn't got caught and you had got away with it, do you think that you guys would still be together right now?
I thought Rachel was my soulmate. I was in love with this woman. I thought she was the one. She's beautiful, classy, intelligent. The plan had been actually that we were going to start after the murder in the November. We'd actually been planning to start a family and to start trying for kids in sort of like January, February time.
Do you still love her, Mike?
I don't know. Rachel has proven herself to be an incredibly manipulative, pathological and perpetual liar. I don't think she's necessarily a psychopath, but she does have a sickening sense of self-preservation that borders on being evil. Once I got arrested on suspicion of murder, she obviously just thought, well, it's over for him now. I'm not going to stand in the way and try and protect him by giving him an alibi. She decided to throw me under the bus and send her own boyfriend down for murder. I think what she's done is absolutely disgraceful, to be honest with you.
Mike spoke a lot about his type of woman. He spoke of his dislike of women that weren't feminine, saying things like, he'd never allow me to cut my hair. So basically, a year into the relationship, and Mike is demanding to know how many people she slept with. He insisted on knowing the circumstances of each, how long I'd known them, after how many dates we'd slept together, and how long we'd dated. I felt like I couldn't escape. Mike had made comments about sleeping in a bed where I'd slept with other men, even saying he didn't like the fact other men had been in my house. I once went to give him a drink in a pint glass and he refused to use it because he said another man may have drank out of it. I mean, it's just, crazy. It's extreme. It's extreme, isn't it?
This was the first card that she made for me after she was imprisoned, for want of a better word. And she's put here, I'm the luckiest daughter in the world. You always give me the best advice and you're a pillar of strength to me no matter what I'm faced with. There's nothing I can't do with you by my side.
What does it feel like to be the mum of a convicted murderer?
Unbelievable. I don't think I can... Well, I'm not the mother of a murderer. She's been convicted of murder, but she's not a murderer. There's a man out there who isn't alive, not because of Rachel, but because of a monster that she had a relationship with.
You call Hillier a monster. Liam's family, and probably a lot of people who hear about what Rachel did, would call Rachel a monster.
I can understand them coming out with that phrase, but that's the narrative they're being fed by the CPS. Michael Hillier admitted to killing Liam Smith. Rachel was over 90 miles away. She wasn't involved in agreeing, planning, covering up that horrific murder. She's been sentenced to 30 years in prison for murder she didn't commit. How can that be justice?
There's just like this surrealness and disbelief from you guys that you even found yourself in this situation.
Oh yeah, it's disbelief in the justice system. And I know I keep saying this, but it's disbelief that she could be convicted under the law of joint enterprise.
2 young boys will now have to spend the rest of their life without their adoring father. And the rest of our family will also be forever haunted by this senseless act of murder.
I reached out to speak to Liam's family, but they didn't want to be involved. I can't even imagine what it must be like for them. You know, they gave statements at court about the devastating impact like Liam's murder had had, and they said, our lives are being destroyed. Unless your loved one has been murdered, you'll never understand the magnitude of our feelings. Other humans have taken his life. Other humans are the cause of this loss and pain, and we'll never get over this. And it's heartbreaking, it really, really is. Just how violently, you know, Liam was killed and the trauma that is being left now. Like, you know, it's so hard. And when it came to sentencing, apparently, like, there was just so much anger in the public gallery, like, as you can imagine, and there was people shouting, you know, you should hang from a noose, and calling Rachel evil. I think for me, like, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how you can be convicted of a murder when you provably weren't at the scene of the crime, when someone else admitted to pulling the trigger. How can you be a murderer and you weren't there, like, at the scene of a crime?
For people who are not aware of it, joint enterprise it's a legal principle, but really what it means is that the police and the prosecution can charge someone with a really serious offence like murder, not on the basis that they have necessarily committed the act of violence, but through this idea of, like, criminal liability. It enables the kind of the police and the prosecution to kind of sweep everybody up on that same charge and kind of just let it play out in the courtroom. To see somebody convicted as a murderer, you know that they're going to serve a minimum tariff of 30 years, when really we know that individual didn't engage in that violence. How do we reconcile that with an understanding of justice?
So Liam and Rachel had been on a date, like, years back.
Miss Fulstow met Liam Smith on a Tinder date in 2019.
They'd slept together. And Rachel talks about how it was like just drunken sex and it wasn't consensual, but how she, like, didn't regard it as that much of a big deal, it seems. He was having sex with me. I said stop, he didn't. I said no, stop. Then Liam stopped, and he did, and he apologised. And then that was it. They'd kind of gone for lunch the next day. And she's told Mike about this during the relationship. And Mike had said, are you serious, Rachel? You go to a hotel with someone on a first date? He was really horrible, berating me. My behaviour was disgusting, embarrassing, shameful.
It was so judgmental about Rachel having this one night stand. I mean, the names, the abuse that are in some of her messages and her notes, it's shocking.
So Rachel says that she just snapped, and she says to him, I didn't want it to happen. Does that make you happy? Now please just go away and leave me alone. I don't want this. And he's replying, calling her a slag and that you did want it.
He had to justify in his head why Rachel had had a one-night stand. She can't fall off the pedestal, can she? So he had to label it something else to make it acceptable to himself. He put the label rape on it, not Rachel.
He said, you definitely said stop. He said, yes, I said stop. And he says, Rachel, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've been raped.
She said that she was able to confide in me about what had happened with Liam Smith because she believed that I was a gentleman, because I had quite strong views on sex offenders.
In his head, his woman had been raped. In his head, can I emphasise that? In his head, he wanted to be her saviour.
Mr. Hillier said in court that this attack was a vigilante attack, which he carried out after finding out that Liam Smith had raped Rachel Fulstow back in 2019. But it was suggested he was actually angry about the fact that she'd had a one-night stand.
I was really upset. I was really angry about it because I was just like, this is the woman that I love. And I said to her, you know, people can't get away with things like that.
This whole thing is so, like, blurry and complicated, and the deeper I get into it, you know, I have no idea who is telling the truth, where the truth is. You know, Rachel and Michael have two completely different versions of everything that happened. So this is Rachel's actual phone?
Actual phone,
that she had when she got arrested?
Oh, it gets me. They were off and on the whole time. She was forever kind of grappling with the idea of the relationship and wanting to break it off, but then feeling that she couldn't.
She says, I feel lonely, intimidated, irritated, walking on eggshells. You have insulted, blamed and threatened me. You've critiqued me, terrified me. And for what it's worth, you have single-handedly shattered my self-worth and confidence. What do you feel when you're like reading this stuff?
Horrendous. She's stuck. She's so helpless. I just wish that someone had known and been able to get her out of there. She just never knew when he was going to turn up. Never knew when he was going to turn up, be at her door, and what he was going to do. So I think there was 2 instances where he caused damage. This is at her house. He turned up at her house. These are cupboards that he's pulled off the wall.
What caused this?
Just an argument. You know, he's a beast of a man.
Did she tell anyone about that at the time?
She never spoke to me at the time about it, but afterwards, she was absolutely terrified. This was taken after he smashed her house up. As if he's almost showing off. He didn't hit her. So that's always your kind of, oh, well, he's never hit me, has he? So, really, is it that bad? But he didn't need to. I mean, it caused this damage, and that terrified her.
And what does Rachel think about him now, about Michael?
I think she's still got that level of fear, although now she can obviously rationalise that he can't harm her, but he's still there. You know, he's even made contact since she's been in prison with her legal team.
How?
Constant harassment and telephone calls to her legal team.
What was he saying?
He said he had information that might help Rachel's position.
And what was the information?
Never shared it.
You were calling Rachel's family and her legal team and saying that you had information that was beneficial to Rachel. What was that information that you had?
There's no sort of magical evidence that can somehow get Rachel like a retrial or get her like acquitted of murder, because it's just not true. Do you know what I mean? There isn't some epic miscarriage of justice here.
What was the information that you said that would be beneficial?
I feel like that's something that I can only discuss with Rachel's family. It's not something I'm going to disclose to you or any other journalist.
Is there information, like, or is it like maybe a way of you trying to stay in contact with Rachel?
I think you misunderstood there. I'm not trying to keep Rachel in my life. I've got no interest in having contact with Rachel herself. The way she manipulated me, she lied to me, she used me, and then she betrayed me.
When I'm reading this, you can see it escalate, like, over the time, month by month by month. I felt he thought he owned me, and I felt trapped. I'd allowed and even welcomed this man into my life, and little by little, insult by insult, promise by promise, he was taken over. If he wanted sex, he would manipulate the situation, make me feel so rubbish, like I was obliged as his girlfriend, or he'd become abusive, so I'd learned it was easier to just get it over with. And she's said here, I'd started to wear a tampon even when I wasn't on my period. That still didn't stop him. and he would take the tampon out himself. If there wasn't blood, he'd question me. That is so awful. And this is a guy as well who has proudly done this crime because of his moral reasons and how he called Liam a rapist before he shot him in the face. And this is a guy who, Rachel's saying here, would pressure her, she felt, to have sex, and would take out her tampon and question it. So Professor Jane's been working with Rachel and her family. She's also read Rachel's whole account of what happened.
When we're looking here at what Rachel is saying, this is so frightening. She knows that if she says, no, I don't feel like sex tonight, there's going to be a consequence. So she thinks, oh, I'm going to say it, I'm on my period. Still didn't work, did it? It still didn't work. There's no way around his rules. That's the truth of coercive control, really. You're having your every move monitored, and you're trying really, really hard not to break the rules because you're scared of the consequences.
Because all this could be true about, how kind of coercive Mike was and what the relationship was like, but the judge said in court that fear is not a defense for murder.
But Rachel says she didn't murder him. Rachel didn't put forward fear as a defense to murder. And she wasn't there. She was many, many miles away when that murder happened. So all of these arguments are getting mixed up together.
So do you think that Rachel is innocent?
I don't know whether Rachel is innocent or not, but what Rachel says, what Rachel claims is very plausible given the way coercive control plays out.
What do you think would have happened if Rachel had stayed in that relationship?
I can practically guarantee you her life would have been in danger at some point, especially if she tried to leave him.
Now, a woman accused of plotting the acid and gun murder of a man from Wigan says she lied to police because she was paralysed by fear of the killer.
When she was spoken to as a witness, once the police had tracked down Hillier as being the gunman, Rachel giving a false statement and false and misleading information during the course of a video-recorded interview.
She said when he turned up at her house after the attack, he'd said to her, you don't talk to the police, you don't tell them what I've done, you don't snitch.
Then again, he said, you now know what I'm capable of.
There could be many reasons why she lied to the police. You're already fearful of him. Then he turns up at your door and says, I've murdered someone for you. Why would that reduce your fear?
I knew not reporting him, not instantly leaving and not telling anyone was morally wrong, but it's what I had to do to protect myself. I did not feel safe with him. He was out of control.
Even if she was in fear of him, none of that would have been inconsistent with her also being guilty. If she was acting, for instance, out of fear or a loyalty towards Hillier, if that is right, that wouldn't mean necessarily she was not guilty. Wouldn't give her a defense to this in these circumstances.
After the attack, the couple travelled to Jamaica for a holiday.
She's saying that I've turned up at her house after I've murdered Liam Smith and threatened to do the same to her and her entire family. To say that she was in fear of me or that I was coercive controlling, that is absolutely not true. She went on holiday to Jamaica with me 6 days later.
Look at this one, for example, they've gone on this trip to Bob Marley's home, and this is literally what, a week or so after he's killed Liam, and Rachel knows about it. There's pictures of them at dinner. This one here, a breathtaking natural beauty amongst breathtaking natural beauty. It became clear under no circumstances was he cancelling the trip. I asked how we were meant to go off on holiday after what he'd done, and his response was the same. We have to just act normal. To my friends and family, my life was great. Everyone said I looked the best I ever had. That was what I wanted them to think. Everything's going well in my world. I was strong and happy. The reality was, I was none of those things. And then in her diary here, she's just saying about how she just didn't want to go on this trip. She was terrified of him. And you're like, what do I believe? Do I believe these pictures where you're having an absolute incredible time? A holiday that, like, I want to be there? Or am I believing this that you wrote from your cell, which is none of these pictures were true?
The man who is accused of killing a father of two in Wigan has admitted changing his defence statement 10 days after his trial began. Michael Hillier says that he did it after he was thrown onto the bus by his girlfriend.
So I've heard that Rachel has got a new lawyer. So I want to go and meet him to see what basically he's saying, if he's had a chance to look into the case yet.
The difficulty that Rachel had at the trial was that Hillier had served a defence statement at the beginning of the trial. He then produced another defence statement, which all of a sudden it suddenly blamed everything on Rachel.
What impact did that new statement have, like, on the court case and the trial?
The problem was it introduced all sorts of allegations that she'd supplied the acid that was used.
He said that she planned the route, that she obtained the drain cleaner.
He says Rachel was involved in experiments which involved her fielding the gun to test the weight and to assess the results, so that, you know, an awful suggests that she'd been involved in an awful lot of planning on this.
So this, like Hillier saying that Rachel held the gun, tested it, this is the only kind of mention and link?
Yeah, it's very important in terms of sentencing. The minimum term for murder offences involving a gun has a much higher starting point.
The judge at the Liam Smith murder trial told each of them they'd have to serve a minimum of 30 years in prison.
And what do you make of, like, Rachel's 30-year sentence?
If you look into the context of other offences of murder, you'd be looking at something significantly less if no firearm was involved, or if Rachel was unaware no firearm would be involved.
30 years for a murder, when you went at the scene of the crime, you didn't pull the trigger. It seems massive. What do you make of the sentence?
This is a murder that involved the use of a firearm. And once you reach that point, if somebody isn't there, that's not the issue. It's whether they were part of that offence.
Because Rachel's defence said that to get the starting point at 30 years, she would have to have, like, kind of acknowledge that maybe a gun was going to be used.
Yeah.
Is there evidence that links Rachel to the firearm?
Not directly, no, but the inference must be that if they're going to that level of planning, that it also involves burning the car afterwards. She must have been aware of what the weapon was going to be.
It's him, Hillier, who said that, you know, Rachel knew about the gun. But I didn't know.
In the end, that's evidence for the jury to consider as well.
It's crazy, isn't it? That, like, maybe it's like, you know, his words are carrying that much weight.
One question that might be asked is, if you've got all of that detailed planning, why wouldn't she also have known about the gun?
Michael Hillier told the jury if Rachel Fulstow hadn't thrown me under the bus, I would have taken the blame for everything.
Does she deserve to be in prison for 30 years, do you think?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't think any woman that's been the victim of a sex crime deserves to be in prison for 30 years because she's assisted and encouraged a retaliatory attack. I thought at the time of my offence that I was doing the right thing. I thought my actions were honourable. I felt my actions were
justified. It's mad that though, isn't it, Mike? It's like I shot this guy in the face and you poured acid on him. The honourable thing?
Maybe honourable is not the right word, but I suppose at the time of the offence, I couldn't see past my partner's own want for justice.
You're the one who shot him dead. So it's like, if you hadn't done that, Mike, none of you guys, none of these lives would be destroyed if you hadn't have shot Liam in the face.
She's encouraged me.
Forget that a minute about...
It wouldn't have happened if she hadn't encouraged me to do it.
Mike, if someone said to me right now...
Rachel encouraged me to carry out this retaliatory attack. There's absolutely no way I was going to let Rachel down. That's the woman that I love. There's no way. Like, I was going to do whatever it took to get Rachel the justice that she wanted.
Even if Rachel did encourage you and assist you, there's levels to this, isn't there, Mike? You can't be a grown man and say, oh, I only done it because she told me to. We're dealing with someone's life here.
What can I say? Like I said previously, at the time of the offence, I believed my actions were justified, and at the time of my offence, I believed in retaliatory vigilante action.
And now you don't.
I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. There is absolutely no winners in this situation.
In the summer before the murder, she drafted this message in her phone, like this breakup message. You are an incredible and good man deep down. I know that about you, and I'm forever grateful you came into my life. I can't be who you need. I can't tolerate or endure your behaviour. I think we need to go our separate ways. And she says that she finally got brave enough to send it when they got back from Jamaica. And she says, I was expecting him to go mad, and the fact he wasn't almost made me feel more uneasy. I vividly recall him saying, well, we are connected for life now. Ugh. I mean, that's chilling, isn't it? And it's true.
I love you and I miss you.
In the eyes of the law, Rachel is a convicted murderer. They were both found guilty by a jury who'd seen all the evidence. Michael got 33 years, Rachel 30. She wasn't there at the scene. There's no evidence, it seems, that she knew about the weapon that was going to be used. In joint enterprise, it was supposed to hold groups of people accountable. But in cases like this, if Rachel didn't fire the gun, should she spend nearly as long in prison as the man who did?